I am someone who tries to entertain you, inform you, but there's something else I do on here when it comes to the tabletop role-playing game hobby. I challenge taboos, agendas, things that people push that I don't agree with. And maybe you won't even agree with me. But I ask you something. Do you think a voice like that should exist in the tabletop role-playing game hobby? Well, if you do, that voice can only exist if you're willing to support people you might not even agree with. Because if you give no support, you take that voice away. I challenge things like a claim that doing a special voice, maybe it makes you a better player than the next player, or a better game master than the next game master. I say that is false evidence. That when it comes to playing these games, really, it's what you say, not exactly that you're doing a unique voice when you do it. And you only need to change tone when it comes to the imagination of the people around you. And that simple tone change will be enough to communicate to them that, oh, you're this or you're that. And they'll take you in just as well as somebody doing some unique, special voice. And it comes down to what you say, what you're doing in the game. Are you getting important information? Are you lowering the price on that item that you're trying to purchase? Are you getting the enemy to back off? Are you convincing that faction leader that he should make the deal with the other group? Well, if you're doing that, you're doing good at social interaction in the game. And all you've had to do is change your tone, at the very least, to get people to sort of, take their imagination and play on that. And you're a good player. You're as good as anybody doing some special voice at the table. Or what about storytelling? Oh, I hear about it all the time. We're collaborating. We're storytellers. But for the most part, are we actually telling a story? Or are we playing a game? And from what we do, a story emerges. I don't go in with the plan to tell a story in a Dungeons and Dragons game. I go in to play the game or to run the game. I set things up. How it plays out, well, we let it play out. We allow the dice to create randomness. We allow our imaginations and improvising to also create randomness. From that, a story will emerge from what we are doing. But you don't need to intentionally go in to tell a story. You just think about what's going on next. What your character's doing. What action should they make? What should they say? That's it. Oh, you may disagree. I get it. You may have an agenda on your own end that you're pushing. Well, I say it's not necessary. You're not completely wrong. There's elements of storytelling going on, but it's not something we actually focus on. We simply do what we do, and from what we do, a story is going to emerge. You may disagree, but do you agree that a voice like mine should exist? That an argument like that should be welcomed into the hobby at the table? Or what about old school Dungeons and Dragons? Man, that's wargaming. That's all wargaming. Well, I know the history. I know that D&D, or Dungeons and Dragons, was criticized for moving away from wargaming. That wargamers really, in a lot of ways, turned on D&D. Made their own games. Inspired a whole bunch of games that came out from wargamers because they were anti-D&D, saying Dungeons and Dragons moved away from wargaming. Focus on abstract combat, not so much tactical. It got away from its roots, where it was built at first, but it was no longer. Or what about the opinion that you run the game raw? Well, what did Gary Gygax say? The Dungeon Master is king. How can the DM be king if the book is king? If it's all raw, the book overrules the Dungeon Master. If the book is king, the DM cannot be king. You know, raw was something that had to do with tournament play, selling the game to the public. But at the at-home game, when it came to Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, first edition was normal. DM has all the authority. Dungeon Master is king. And Dungeon Master overrules raw, the book. Throughout my content, I make an argument for every one of these issues. Not just what I said here. I go into detail on every issue. And these issues, well, it's not popular to oppose the other side. They're taboo, right? And people want to put me into a corner, cut me off, push me out of the conversation, as if my views do not belong here. Yet I can make a case for every one of them, far more detailed than I have in this video. I'm willing to debate, argue, disagree, but not for the sake of conflict, for the sake of learning, understanding, progressing our knowledge. Not just getting stuck in one lane where there's credible pushback. And trust me, I give it. And if the truth is not on the other side, maybe it's not even totally on my side, but it's somewhere in the middle, wouldn't it be better to discover the truth, to understand it, to allow the discussion to happen, to have these opinions exist, instead of having people push you out because they have an agenda? This is how it is, and it can't be any other way. In reality, the agendas that I push back against, I think some of them exist to justify things that really don't hold water at the end of the day. I do think for the most part we probably agree more than we disagree. The difference is I'm not running an agenda trying to push other things. It's not just what they're saying, it's what they're pushing behind what they're saying. They say it's this, so also they're going to push this absolute thing over here. Oh, it's storytelling. So hey, what's the point of character death? Or it's raw, so you're playing the game wrong and we're playing the game right. Oh, it's storytelling. We have to focus on that. What? Over playing the game? We got to tell a story? Or what about the special, unique voice? It intimidates other people. What? I'm not a good player, even though I say the right things. I negotiate well. I get the faction leader to do the thing, make the agreement. I get the merchant to put the price down. I do all that, and I change my tone, and the other players and the game master enjoys my play. They tell me it's fine. But somehow, there's a guy beside me who doesn't learn from his mistakes, isn't good at negotiating, can't get the price down on the item, can't get the leader to make the deal, can't get the enemy to back off. But somehow he does a special voice and he's better than I am. Is that real? I don't know. What I say is for all of us to be able to have these discussions, debates, disagreement, get to the point where we find the truth in the process. Voices like mine have to be supported. I really believe that. I believe it. I don't just do the pushback. Mind you, I do pushback on these agendas, these taboo issues. But I also entertain. I give gaming advice. I do so much more than just that. You know, some people will stop supporting me because I push back on taboo ideas. But they'll like my other content. They like my entertainment stuff. They like when I give advice. But guess what? They won't like the videos now. They won't sub to the channel. Why? Because I have a few opinions that they don't agree with. People can be sensitive in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. In reality, I will support people I don't even agree with on some things. But if there's enough of this over here, I'm with you. You don't need to bow the knee to me, but many of the people in the hobby make you need to bow the knee to everything that they believe. And if you don't agree, they can't give you support. Oh, you don't agree with storytelling? The collaboration? Let's get rid of character death? Well, I can't sub to your channel. I can't even like the videos that I like. That's the reaction I get from a lot of people. Oh, you don't support the idea that doing a unique voice makes somebody better than you? Well, I guess I can't sub to your channel. I can't like the videos that I like. I think that's a sad, sad situation. And that so many people in the hobby are actually like that. They really are, sadly. And so I'll do a lot of content that those people will like, but I can't get their support. So what I'm asking you is to get past this issue. Allow for my opinions to be put up, be offered, be a pushback. Allow the discussion. Don't take disagreement as an attack. The debate is healthy. And if you believe that, if you truly believe that, yes, it is better to have these discussions, to have the debates, to find the truth outside of pushing nonsense with agendas, maybe you could sub to this channel. You could like the videos that you do like. Maybe you could dislike the videos that you don't like. That's all good. That doesn't mean you're not giving some space to people like me. But if you push me out and what you believe ends up not being totally true, is that good for you? Is that good for the hobby? No. And we just need to have open minds, intelligent discussions. You need someone to see things from a different point of view. I do that. But that doesn't mean you dismiss talent, entertaining content, good advice, along with everything else. I'm not just one thing in the hobby. I'm many things. I have experience. I have a lot to offer. So I ask you, again, sub, like what you like, dislike what you don't like, but support voices like mine. Don't let things become taboo. Don't let certain people overrun the hobby, because if you can use your agenda for one thing that you want to push today, what if another agenda comes up that pushes something you don't agree with? But how can you say something? You have an agenda, they have an agenda. If you're pushing back against them, what, no one's allowed to push back against you? I see it all the time. Two different people with agendas, where there's issues with each agenda. And you'll see one person pushing back against the other, and I'm like, well, let me push back against you. Oh no, Stephen, you shouldn't be allowed to speak.